Have you ever felt completely drained, not because of hard work, but because of people? A single word ruins your mood. A look makes you feel judged. A silence feels like rejection. If that sounds familiar, then this video is for you. Because today, I'm going to show you how to break free from the invisible cage of reactions and discover a kind of inner power that few people ever experience. Welcome back to the channel. Here we explore personal growth, inner strength, and the tools you need to create a life of true freedom. If you're tired of being controlled by the opinions and behaviors of others, keep listening. What you'll hear today could change the way you see yourself and the way you live forever. The hidden exhaustion. Let's say something that most people are afraid to admit. You're not tired because of lack of sleep or physical effort. You're tired because everything around you affects you too deeply. One wrong word can ruin your whole day. An ambiguous behavior leaves you restless. A silence that was probably meaningless keeps echoing in your mind like thunder. And you know this. You know you're too sensitive. You try meditations, affirmations, self-help quotes. You tell yourself, don't take it personally, but you still do. The truth is, the problem isn't what others do. The real problem is how you react inside yourself. The invisible cage. Think about it. Every time you get angry, every time you feel rejected, you hand over your inner control to someone else. It's like giving them the remote control to your emotions. You're living in an invisible cage, a cage built not by them, but by you. And the bars of that cage are made of your own reactions. Here's the big question. How do you get out? How do you stop being so easily shaken by the words, looks, and moods of others? The philosophy of freedom. This isn't a new question. In fact, over 100 years ago, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche gave us an answer. Nietzsche was no stranger to rejection. He was mocked by his friends, ignored by his community, and dismissed by his academic world. Yet he turned his pain into philosophy. And that philosophy had one simple secret. Don't react. Not because you don't care, not because you're cold or indifferent, but because you've reached a higher level of awareness where you refuse to be a prisoner of your reactions. Imagine the power. Imagine this. The next time someone insults you, instead of getting angry, you just smile softly. Not out of arrogance, but out of calm understanding. The next time someone tries to make you feel small, you don't flinch. You don't sulk. You simply stay centered. That's not indifference. That's real power. Because when you no longer need to react, you are free, facing the inner enemy. But here's the hard truth. You can't solve this by pretending to ignore it. You can't just not look. You have to face it directly. Why do you react so quickly? Which part of you is still wounded? What fear is unresolved? What weakness in you is desperate to defend itself? Nietzsche said it clearly. Our greatest enemy isn't out there. It's not the critic. It's not the person who hurt you. The real enemy is inside. It's your shadow, your unhealed side that reacts from pain instead of strength. The sign of resentment. Your anger is not the world's fault. It's a sign. It's showing you that you haven't yet built an independent identity. It's showing you that you still depend on the approval of others. Think about it. Nobody woke up this morning with the mission of insulting you. But sometimes you act like the whole world revolves around you. It doesn't. This is why Nietzsche often spoke with sharp, even harsh words, because he wanted us to see the truth. The problem isn't them. It's that we let them affect us. The death of the old self. If you really want freedom, you must go through a symbolic death. The part of you that constantly reacts has to die. The part that craves respect, demands justice, and always wants to prove itself right, must be left behind. In its place, you must build a new self, a self that needs nothing from others, a self that already has everything within. Nietzsche called this the Übermensch, or Superman. I call it the person who no longer reacts. Because they don't need to. The difference between control and freedom. Now let me make something very clear. Not reacting doesn't mean holding back your anger. It doesn't mean biting your tongue or forcing yourself to stay quiet. That's just suppression. And suppression is like a bomb, quiet on the outside, but destructive inside. Real freedom is when anger itself loses its meaning. You don't just resist it, you outgrow it. You become so strong that the very things that used to upset you, amor fati, love of destiny. This growth comes from one of Nietzsche's most beautiful ideas, amor fati, love of destiny. It means embracing everything that happens, even the painful things, without resistance, not giving up, not becoming passive, but saying yes to life exactly as it is. Why? Because when you reject something, you make yourself smaller. But when you embrace it, nothing can break you. An insult? Just a sound. A criticism? Just a point of view. And when you treat it that way, it loses its power. The real battlefield. Remember, Nietzsche wasn't talking about becoming cold or emotionless. He was talking about becoming a warrior who has mastered the most important battlefield, his own mind. That's why he warned, when you fight monsters, be careful not to become a monster yourself. The real war isn't outside, it's inside. It's with the weak part of you that still screams for attention. It's with the resentment you keep carrying like poison in your heart. Resentment, the hidden poison. Resentment is deadly. It's the bitterness that grows when you replay insults, humiliations, or mockery in your mind. It's sarcasm. It's constant criticism. It's living in the past. And here's the scary part. Resentment doesn't fade with time. It hardens. It becomes your personality. But there's a way out. It begins when you stop blaming others and start working on yourself. The shift in perspective. Nietzsche believed that nothing has meaning except the meaning we give it. It's not the event itself that hurts you. It's your perception of it. So what happens if you change your perception? What if, instead of seeing enemies, you saw mirrors? Every person who annoys you shows you a wound you still need to heal. Every insult points to an insecurity you still carry. Every frustration reveals a dependency you haven't let go of. Suddenly, every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow. Breaking the cycle of dependence. This is where most people give up. Because blaming others is easy, changing yourself is hard. But ask yourself, why should someone who has no real control over your life control your emotions? Deep down, maybe you're still dependent. Maybe you still crave approval, attention, validation. And when you don't get it, you feel wounded. But you can break that cycle. You can free yourself from it. The will to power. Nietzsche called this freedom the will to power. Not power over others. Not domination. But mastery of yourself, your emotions, your perceptions, your inner world. When you reach this level, something incredible happens. No one can hurt you anymore, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Real respect. And here's the paradox. When you stop demanding respect, you finally earn it. When you stop begging for attention, people notice you. When you stop reacting, you become unshakable. This is the deepest form of respect, self-respect. The challenge. Now let me offer you a challenge. For 1 week, don't react. No matter what people say, no matter what they do, just pause, breathe. Ask yourself, do I really need to respond? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Smile softly, save your energy, and keep your peace. The awakening. If you've listened this far, it means something deep inside you is waking up. You're tired of being a leaf in the wind. You want to stand firm like a tree. This is your turning point. From today on, no one gets to disturb your inner center without your permission. That's real freedom. So let's summarize. The problem isn't what others do. The problem is how we let it affect us. Nietzsche's answer was simple but powerful. Don't just suppress your reactions. Outgrow them. Embrace your destiny. Face your inner wounds. Turn resentment into wisdom. And build a self that no longer needs approval. That is personal success. That is freedom. Now, I want you to write this sentence in the comments. I won't react anymore. Let the world shout as loud as it wants. You're no longer part of the noise. You're building a higher self. If this message inspired you, make sure to subscribe for more personal development insights, because you're not just watching a video, You're becoming who you were always meant to be. I'll see you in the next one.